Good morning. Hi, this is Travis from National Weather Services, and this is your weather hazard briefing for November 13th, Thursday. We'll have one more warm day with temperatures above normal 10 to 15 with southerly flow out of ahead of a weak system that moves through Friday. The precip amounts have really backed off on this precip. Originally, models were kind of showing this as a cold front, and now it's just kind of like a weak trough grazing over our northern areas, the Central Mountains, Montana Divide, and bringing in general around 1/10 of an inch, a little bit more on the western slopes of the Sawtooth, but the snow levels are quite high, 8 to 9,000 feet. And then we cool down on Friday a little bit with that trough passage, but not much, maybe 5 to 10 degrees. Not near as cool as what was expected earlier. And then we have a upper level low kind of moving over our area on Sunday and Monday with snow levels still quite high, around 8,000 feet. I'll show you all that here real quick. We have this high pressure ridge over us. It's pretty much centered. The ridge axis is right over our eastern areas, right over the Wyoming border. It's allowing for southerly flow. This will continue to shift to the east as this system continues to progress to our area, and you can see we're kind of in a dry slot with clear clouds over us right now, but all these clouds to our west will move over us today, and then this system will move through us this weak trough on Friday. Probably Friday afternoon is what we're looking at. So we'll have southerly winds up to, in general, to around mid to late morning to early afternoon across our area until that trough passes through Friday afternoon. So we will be a little bit breezy today out ahead of southerly winds out ahead of that. A little bit more breezy on Friday. I'll show you those. And then again, we have rain shower chances practically everywhere with a little bit of snow way up high above 8 to 9,000 feet. So a little bit lingering breezy conditions on Saturday. Potentially some pops really late across our southern areas. I forgot to put that in here. But no real impacts on that. And then as Sunday, the upper level low, and Monday moves over us, much better rain chances, and I'll show you that here in a second. So here's our temperatures for today. Still 60s, backed off from yesterday. It was firmly in the mid 60s all the way up to Idaho Falls, particularly through Blackfoot. So it has backed off, particularly as we have that cloud cover move in. Here are our wind gusts today. Not too bad, mainly in our southern areas and up in the Central Mountains. And then our chance of precip is just really late in the evening as that system starts to move in, and hardly any precip, maybe 100th in the Stanley Sawtooth areas. Low temperatures Friday morning, quite high with the southerly winds. You can see the downslope is really pushing those winds up. So as the wind goes off of the mountains and downslopes, it gets these areas much warmer. And the models are showing that quite nicely. And then here's Friday. Again, it hasn't really backed out too much, maybe 5 degrees. Some areas in our north, maybe 10 degrees. And then our wind gust behind that trough near 30 to 35 in the Arco Desert and Snake Plain. Precip as we go into Friday with that system moving in. Again, it's really holding up in the upslope areas of the Central Mountains as well as the Tetons or along the eastern highlands. So our Montana Divide and Central Mountains will get the most of the precip, but not a lot. Generally a 1/10. Could see just a few areas up to 2,500s, particularly the western slopes of these two areas here. Could get so in general, not going to see a lot of snow. Snow levels, like I said, 8 to 9,000 feet. So they're not going to see a lot of snow of that. But then here's your amounts, 1/10 to a quarter in those upslope areas, but generally 1/10 or less elsewhere. Here on Saturday, here's our Saturday morning temperatures. You see them do drop even more, but still up there in these areas in the Snake Plain. And then Saturday, this was going to be in the 40s originally 3 or 4 days ago, but now we're in the mid 50s. So not a massive cool down from the 60s we saw, maybe 5 to 10 degrees. And then here's our gusts Saturday afternoon is really backed off as well. I was showing more here earlier. So not that windy on Saturday. And then Saturday, the very, very late, the precip chances creep in. Not looking to see a lot of precip, maybe 100th in the western slopes of the Central Mountains, but that'll change probably. Here we go into Sunday morning. Here's our temperatures. And then Sunday afternoon, still 50s, a little bit lower from Saturday, particularly with all the cloud covers. That upper level low moves over us. Not that windy with a upper level low, which makes sense. And then chance of precip on Sunday is quite high for the most part. I see those actually creeping up even higher with upper level low, particularly to match these QPF amounts, which is up to a quarter. Right now, with upper level low, you'll see kind of upslope in the Central Mountains, and then along the eastern highlands and the southern highlands are the most amounts at this point. And then our low temperatures on Monday morning, and as we go into Monday afternoon, 40s, so it is cooling down with that upper level low passing. And then Monday are fairly good precip chances as well. And then there's your wind gusts. They do pick up as that low moves through. And then here's your QPF amounts. In the general range of a tenth, could see some and a quarter the upslopes, but in general a tenth in the mountains and a couple hundredths in the Snake Plain. So again, just to recap, we're going to be warmer and mild today, but that's going to change. We'll cool down a good 5 degrees, if not 10 by Saturday. And then trough moving through on Friday, bringing just from weak precip chances, a tenth of an inch or so, maybe up to a quarter in the upslope areas in our northern areas of the Sawtooth, as well as along the eastern highlands with that weak system on Friday. Cooler temperatures Friday into the weekend. Like I said, they're going to drop 5 to 10 degrees from what we're going to see today. And then rain and snow Sunday and Monday with an upper level low kind of moving over our area. And then snow levels will start about 8,000. May potentially go down to 7,000 feet by Monday. But again, not looking for hardly any snow with that one. Although there is better precip chances each day on Sunday and Monday, a tenth to a quarter, depending on where you're at. So that concludes the briefing. If you have any questions, give us a call at that number. Thanks.